Welcome to the Idiot Twins, not your mama's dinner table.
Yes, welcome everybody.
Yeah, our maiden voyage.
This is our first episode. Me and Josh met through our friend Lizzie Mercado. And this episode is kind of love or heartbreak themed. So we have different things in pop culture that we want to talk about in relation to our own heartbreaks. What is one of your favorite movies about heartbreak?
Ah, uh, Definitely would have to be Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Just the concept,
Yeah,
um,
it's a
the
classic.
concept of being able to erase a relationship and how that would kind of, butterfly affect your whole romantic life.
Yeah,
And
I mean it's
mhm,
I think the concept of the movie, which is kind of a lot of what Charlie Kaufman does with a lot of his movies, is he bases his stories in reality, but he makes one element fantastical. You know, like in Being John Malkovich, it was being able to be somebody else. He has the movie Schenectady, New York, which is
mhm,
being able to produce an epic play if you could, or
mhm,
whatever. But I think the point of what he's trying to do is he the fantastical element that he
mhm,
brings to the reality of
mhm,
his story, how he grounds it in reality is basically it's taking, and like the fantastical elements, basically it's taking like, general human wishes, like wanting to be somebody
mhm,
else, wanting to erase a trauma, um,
mhm,
of a relationship from your mind, whatever. All
mhm,
these things that we wish we could do as humans. And while he illustrates that within reality, if we actually
mhm,
could have those things, it illustrates why we shouldn't want those things and
mhm.
why it's really pointless to wish you're somebody else or wish trauma away from your mind or whatever.
Right.
And I think it's genius because we have all these stupid wishes as humans, and he's kind of
Mhm.
saying, well, no, reality works the way it works for a reason. We actually
Mhm.
should appreciate the reality we live in and not want all these stupid wishes,
Right.
because um, wanting all these things, to make life easier would actually make it more boring and pointless, and the
Right.
reason why the universe didn't make it that way. Like the universe, I think, and one of the reasons is like Charlie Kaufman scripts and movies.
Mhm.
Why I kind of have this philosophy, and basically, it's based on a lot of like hardcore indie drama,
Mhm.
cinema that I love. In the
Right.
in behind me, is basically teaches me that like it makes me appreciate the reality we live in more and more as
Right.
I, you
Because
know,
it's like a dystopian alternative, in a sense.
yeah, or it could lead to that if we had our
Right.
wishes or whatever, or just
Yeah.
like even if it wasn't dystopian, it would just be boring. Like,
Right.
I think the universe, it went through its unicorn eating marshmallows in the clouds phase, but it's like, wait, this is boring. Like, there's no point to this, right?
Yeah.
And so it
And
created the world the way it is, or maybe many different types of worlds the way they are,
mhm.
for a
Right.
reason, because it's just more interesting
Mhm.
to live in. I don't know. I think our reality is very interesting, and I think
Mhm.
what's interesting is that we have these ideas of fantasies in our head. That's what's
Right.
interesting, is we could live in a reality where we don't have fantasies in our head, but we
Right.
have the fantasies in our head, which is to me proof of the universe having some kind of like bigger point to why we exist,
Right.
because it's
To
giving
bring to
it's
bring the
giving us
fantasy.
ideas.
So to bring what you're trying to say is maybe to bring the fantasies that can be brought to fruition,
Well,
and
well, no, I think it's the universe has maybe gone through different worlds of where these fantasies are true, but they're like, no, these fantasies are stupid. And but I like the idea, like the universe is thinking, oh, I
Mhm.
like the idea of a world that um is very plain base reality, but they only have thoughts of fantasies in their head that
Right.
actually can't come true.
Mm.
Obviously that's what the universe thought was you know a great idea, because that's the reality we're living in. And I think whether Charlie Kaufman and artists like him are trying to basically say appreciate reality, or this is the reality we were given, we should just learn to love it, because otherwise life is gonna suck. you know if you just
Mhm.
if you just think, if you're just gonna wish all these things, then your life's gonna be miserable, because you're wishing all these things that aren't gonna happen.
That is very true.
And so,
You appreciate the constraints of reality more when you venture outside and see what negatives could happen.
yeah, so I've joked before that, like, I try to make reality my fantasy so that I'm living in my
Ah.
fantasy, because it's the reality. So,
Bringing it to fruition.
right, but not really, but just accepting the way the world works, I guess.
Ah.
But still not being like, what do you call it? Like complacent. You still obviously want to like improve your life as much as you can
Of course.
within our reality, but um still accepting the rules of the universe we live in.
Right.
So, so otherwise, what are your thoughts? I
Um
went on rambling, so now you talk.
no, that's right. Yeah, right. I with the eternal sunshine of the spotless mind, I I mean, I'm someone who's naturally very romantic. I
Okay.
relish those, like I've always been like a serial monogamist, like a relationship guy. I can't do one night stands, and no matter how my relationships have turned out, I can't imagine ever even having the desire to want to erase it, because
Hmm.
at one point in my life it was exactly what I wanted. It filled a need. I filled a need for another human being, and I relished that serendipity that can bring two people together in that way. And when I see something like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, it it's there. And I really firmly believe that society has degraded itself and demoralized itself, and there's a lot of shortcuts we've taken as a nation and a society, and just I
Yeah.
think in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, I think at its core is a treatise about the dangers of shortcuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
How when you erase pain from your memory, it fucks with who you are, and
Yeah,
it
because the
changes.
pain is what made you who you are. So you're basically going back in time, and you're becoming an infant again who doesn't know anything. The all
Hmm.
our pain and trauma um,
Yeah,
has taught us many lessons, and that's the
right.
point of it.
And yeah, and I'll go even a bit further than that. Like I mean, I'm a firm believer in soulmates. I think there
Okay.
are non-romantic soulmates, but I also believe in romantic soulmates. And
Yeah.
I firmly believe that there is someone who is meant to heal you in a profound way. And in order to require that healing, and in order for the person who is meant for you, because I do believe there is someone for everyone. I don't want to hear this bullshit about people being washed up and ugly and all that crap. There is someone whose eyes
What do you
will.
mean washed up and ugly? What do you mean?
That was a tangent, I suppose.
Okay, but I
That
don't
was
I don't
just.
get it though. Like like what's the argument?
We can edit that out.
No, it's fine.
Um,
No, that was interesting. What does that mean?
oh, just people who like
You
don't
mean
think
you
there's.
Oh, you're
Hmm?
saying people who think Oh, you're not my soulmate because you're ugly. You mean
No,
basically?
no, of
Or,
themselves that way. I'm saying
oh,
like there's someone for everyone. Like that's
okay.
basically it. And there are people who don't buy into that, and I,
Oh,
I
because
net.
they think it's because they're not attractive?
I don't. Yeah, I've heard all kinds of
Right.
things.
No, I was just gonna make the joke how there might be soulmates for people, but they probably um swiped left on Tinder because they thought they were unattractive.
Wah
So
wah wah wah.
you know
Yeah,
what I
you'll
mean?
miss your. That's it. You missed your soulmate because they thought you
You
were
thought
hideous.
they didn't have the right nose, right?
Right? Yeah,
But so then
bastards.
it's like you don't deserve your soulmate.
That's fucking right. If you're
Yeah.
gonna, it's because of a nose, then fuck you.
Yeah.
All right. So basic. Back to what I was saying. I don't know how much of that we're gonna edit out, but
I thought it was interesting.
well, it's up. We'll see.
Okay.
You're. It's up to you. Um, but there's. I do believe you have to go through certain things before you meet the person you're meant to be with.
Yeah.
And that's, your mind can eventually be spotless. It just, someone else needs to be there with the rag and ready to buff out all the marks. It's not something that happens because you force it. It's not something, I think as I recall the end of the movie, like he chooses to not erase this woman and they just end up ice skating. Like something very simple, something very mundane, but they were together.
Hmm.
And he kind of chose to they chose each other, and that's as close to eternal sunshine as a person can get, I suppose. It's not something and there was the rebel who like got rid of the tapes and tried to stop that process. That you can't, it's the concept of being happy with the good and the bad. There's people who will try to anesthetize themselves and get rid of pain and try to live in comfort. And there's a quotation that I go back to a lot, by C.S. Lewis.
Okay.
Basically, the long and short of it is, if you seek comfort, you'll find only soft soap and despair. If you seek
Yeah.
truth, you might find a bit of comfort in the end.
Yeah. That reminds
And
me of. Okay. Sorry. Keep
no,
going.
go
And then
on.
I'll
What does it
go.
remind you of? This idiot twin, help me out. What?
No, it reminds me of how as the generations go on, it seems like
Mhm.
parents are coddling their kids more and more. Like there's
Yeah.
this book out. I don't know. He went on the interview rounds like on Joe Rogan and Bill Maher. I forgot who the
Mhm.
author is, but he wrote like this book, something about the coddling of the American child or something like that, and how um yeah, kids are being more and more coddled to the point where it's like you can't do that because the irony is that then your kid won't have any tools to really have a productive life, and
Yeah.
um you're just you know it's kind of like having a living in a bubble and not having a good immune system. Once you go
Mm.
outside the bubble, well, and then it comes to literal in terms of that when it comes to the peanut allergies, like they're
Oh
coddling.
God.
Peanut allergies are so bad because
Hmm.
they've coddled them so bad away from peanuts that
Hmm.
that's what is making it bad. So the thing is peanuts should be everywhere so that then less and less people will have peanut allergies. More and more kids are having these peanut allergies because um there's so many fucking peanut restrictions that um you bring a peanut around, it kills everybody. Like that's not good.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
exposure. You need
yeah,
exposure. Immune systems need exposure to build up.
yeah. Like we need to roll around in the dirt like we did in our generation. Like
This is not about heartbreak anymore.
right, I don't know how it got to this, but still, like still the same ideas of eternal sunshine, whatever. But that
Yeah,
maybe it can be about heartbreak because if you coddle your kid, chances are maybe it's not gonna have a great love life
that is true.
because they're gonna be mama boys and mama girls and daddy
Yeah.
girls.
Oh, that,
Um,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that just doesn't look good. And I think one of the results is that as the generations go on, we're having less and less kids.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
it's
mean, there's
it's
your
it's
heartbreak right there.
yeah.
I mean, it's in deep. Like,
It's something. Yeah, there's something amiss here. It's just it's a desire. Yeah, it's to coddle. It's a desire to shield.
because that's
Um,
basically what Eternal Sunshine's about, right? They're coddling themselves away from the bad memories, and that's not going
mhm.
to do you any good.
Yeah, and you can't, and you also can't grow from them.
Yeah, exactly.
You
That's the
know.
whole point. Is you have to grow from your trauma, and it makes you a better person, right? The your
Yeah.
scar when your scars heal, like literally when you build your muscle is
Mhm.
scar tissue. When you're lifting weights,
Yeah.
the muscle you're building is the scar from,
Really.
yeah,
Oh.
from when your muscle is aching from you working at your muscles. The
Mm.
aching, like when they say feel the burn is your muscles growing from the scar of it burning.
Wow.
So that's how your muscles grow. So it's
Hmm.
literally, you have to hurt yourself to you have to roll around in the mud for a good immune system. You have to burn your muscles to build them.
Yeah.
You have to hurt yourself in order to grow, literally,
Right.
in all ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And heartbreak obviously is a very common theme we see repeating in pop culture. And 9 years ago, Adele released a song called "Someone Like You"
Okay.
that was all over the airwaves, and we all got sick of it, and we all were done. But now I think we're at the point where we're kind of distant enough that we can really kind of look at that song because of for its true artistic merit.
Okay.
Um, and if you look at a song like "Someone Like You," I mentioned earlier about knowing what you're looking for
Hmm.
in a romantic relationship, and you cannot know that unless you know why the other ones didn't work.
Hmm.
And if you say the chorus, never mind, I'll find someone like you. Well, why do I want someone like you? What is it about you that's worth loving and committing to? And you have to remember why you broke up with everybody else, and you
Yeah.
can't
So your
erase a
next love is
person.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to remember, and it's just, and that's another thing that drives me crazy. People get so caught up in acrimony when relationships fall apart. There's this whole, oh, we can't be friends because we've seen each other naked.
Right.
That's
I keep forgetting the meanings of words. I should read more. What's acrimony mean?
it's right. It's okay. It's fine. Acrimony, bitterness.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, people get so caught up in that and wanting to completely erase them, even if
That's
there are
interesting.
children that bind them to each other. What?
No, yeah, that's interesting because my my fantasy is to always try to be friends with my ex, but
Hmm.
it's not worked until the last ex that I had.
Hmm. See, I was the exact opposite. The exact
You
opposite. I
had
was
bitterness
not bitterness. I just thought it was better
to not
not
be
to
friends?
speak to them. It's not like I wanted to completely erase them from my mind.
Uh-huh.
I just didn't think
You mean because
that
you would have been reminded of the love that wasn't there?
the love that wasn't there and why things, and it's not something I want to be necessarily reminded of constantly, but it's
Right.
not something I want to forget forever.
Yeah.
Then you can, and if you get rid of one, the progression gets messed up. You'll be like, oh, I chose this next person because they had this that so and so was missing. And
Hmm.
if you get rid of anyone in the chain, the whole necklace falls apart.
Okay. But
If that makes sense.
oh, you mean the chain of not being friends with the exes?
No, no, no. So no, the chain of relationships.
Right. But
Like,
wait, what constitute the missing of a link though? Being friends with them or not being friends with them?
no, if the eternal the eternal sunshine of the spotless mind reality were to be true, and you could
Okay.
erase just one link in the chain of people you have been
Right.
with, then it
Right.
all falls apart.
Right.
There's no logical progression.
Right. Okay. I thought you were talking about something within reality, but okay. Right.
Oh no,
Okay.
I deviated
Okay.
again.
No, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Says you would want to be friends with again.
I'm already friends with one of them, and everything's fine. And
Okay,
no
that's interesting.
complaints. She has someone new, and God bless her. And
So
I,
why do you think it was different with her that you became friends but not friends with the other ones? Is it because it's newer and you're maybe more mature, or
that could be. I mean, she maintains friendships with all her exes.
okay,
And
interesting.
that was a precedent that she kind of set for herself.
Oh, so do you think that's why? It's because
Maybe. I mean, Lord knows
she wants it more.
if I were to put up a fight and say like I don't want to be your friend, I'm sure she would be okay with that.
Okay,
But because
but it was kind of a
I
mutual
didn't.
breakup.
What was that?
So it was kind of a mutual breakup, which is
It was not working for a long time, and yeah, it was. And this is going to be edited out, but no, it was definitely
okay.
mutual. It was definitely mutual.
Okay, why does that have
Um,
to be edited out?
to say that it wasn't working. Well, you know
I
what?
mean, what's wrong with saying the truth?
That's true. We have been broken up 3 years
I
now.
mean, it's about breakup. The
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
Well, and
yeah.
what's interesting about that though is that
Uh-huh.
you were trying to live the fantasy of erasing shit.
Ha ha. Well, that was from public record.
Right, but that's what I
I don't
mean.
want to forget about it. I don't want someone coming back to me and being like, yo, you said it wasn't working. Like,
Right. No, but that's what's interesting is that that's kind of I think another thing of what the movie's about is that we still try to edit what we can, right? But
ah.
I think I believe in a philosophy where you shouldn't do that because I think that when this goes to more of a question of art, which is actually the short story I read today at this open mic I was at. That was
Ooh.
the theme of my short story. Was basically the best artists that have profoundly affected me are the
Mhm.
artists who bare their souls and
Right.
are very open, and they forget about their ego, and which is hard to do while you're still living there. If you are putting all your deepest darkest secrets that might even affect other people
Mhm.
in your writing or your work in some way, and then it
Mhm.
makes other people feel weird, that's I think an uncomfortableness that I think is a good price to pay for a lasting legacy, because
Mm.
I think a lot of the things that people what they have to offer, what they have to say, they edit out that from their art because they don't want to be
Mm.
embarrassed, right? But those are
Right.
the exact kind of things that people want to hear. Those
Yeah.
are the things that relate other humans to other human beings, the traumas we've gone through. We don't want to talk about it, but that's the exactly what you should talk about in your art, because
Right.
that's what's going to connect to other people, and that's what's going to make
Yeah.
your art interesting and last longer. And we're here for a very temporary amount of time. Our
Right.
legacies of what we leave behind is going to be more forever,
Right.
and so we want that to be more interesting, and so we want to bare our souls. So basically my short story was about how my mom thought I fucked my uncle.
Okay.
Yeah, she was under the
Was she on
impression.
like a bender at the time? What the?
What? No, she had read my diary.
This
But
is not getting any easier to explain. What?
no, it's fine. So
Please
I
explain.
my mom for a period of 15 years had thought I made love with my uncle. And this is because she had skimmed through my diary really fast one day, and she saw written what she thought, because I was an unhappy, angry little boy, and it's because I was teased at school, bullied, I was in the
Mm-hmm.
closet
Oh,
being
I've been there.
all that stuff, right? That's why I
Mhm.
was unhappy. But she thought I was
Mm.
unhappy. Sure, she didn't know why at the time. She thought maybe I was molested or something. And so she would ask me that sometimes, like, Rhett, you can tell me, were you? Did somebody touch you? And it
Oh
was
my
because
God.
I was like
Oh
this
my
angry
God.
little boy, right? Who I was embarrassed. I would never talk about being bullied or anything because I was so embarrassed, you know. And
Mhm.
so, um, her reading my diary really quickly, like these lines that said, like, um, shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucka. You just mow the lawn, Uncle Fucka. You know, like, and then I mowed the lawn as a kid. So she thought it was about me because that was my job growing
Ah.
up was I mowed the lawn. And so
Mm.
when I came out as gay, like I told her and everything, and she is like, yeah, I figured that because you know you wrote in your diary that you had sex with your uncle. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, what are you
It's
talking about?
this, and
And
there's
so
this
then,
weird connection between being gay and being molested that isn't always there.
no, I know. I'm just saying,
You
like,
know this, but your mother doesn't, and there's a lot of people who don't.
right, because they
And
they look for all these explanations to explain things, and that's not.
like they lump
You're just
all
born that
deviants,
way,
quote unquote, all deviant behaviors together.
right? And well,
It's
that's
intellectually lazy, is what it is.
well, that's the stupid thing is they think being gay is deviant. Like that's
That's yeah,
stupid.
that's also
Well,
intellectually
that's
lazy.
that's what's false about it. But yeah, and
Yeah.
the Catholic priests aren't helping the cause.
Oh God, no.
Yeah. So anyway, so I went back to my journal. So I'm like, okay, mom, gotta read my journals. Call you back.
Seriously.
And so I went through my journals. I found what happened, and this was in 1999 when it
Uh,
was possible to print lyrics off of the internet, but
mhm.
it cost money or we didn't have a printer. I
I'm
don't know. I was still doing things the old school way by printing them in my notebook.
right.
But what happened was my parents had 7 kids. There wasn't a lot of money going around. Like we weren't
Mm,
poor, but we weren't rich because of the 7 kids. And
right.
so I would just like steal these makeshift notebooks from my mom's office. And one of them
Uh,
was like this neon colored notebook. I have I don't see it, but
mm,
so what happened was I saw in there that one of the pages, because the lyrics didn't fit all on one page. So she must have just flipped to any page and
mhm.
saw these like angry lyrics, like, you just fuck your uncle, you uncle fucker. Like, yeah, it was really crazy.
Yeah.
And what it was, it's the lyrics to Uncle Fucker from South Park.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like, you just mowed the lawn, Uncle Fucker. Shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker. You know that movie, right? Have you seen Bigger, Longer, Uncut?
I am not actually a big South Park fan.
You didn't watch the movie. It's a really good movie though. It's really funny.
I believe you. I just haven't seen it.
But anyway, so I was
More
fascinated
pop
with
culture.
this growing up, and I transcribed the lyrics, which I thought were hilarious, in my notebook. And my mom thought that this explained why I was an angry little boy. And so I called her back up. I said, Mom, you have to search the Uncle Fucka music video from South Park, and this will explain everything. So she watches it.
Oh.
And my mom is the only person in the universe that, when upon viewing the Uncle Fucka video,
Mhm.
happy cried.
Really?
You didn't make love to your uncle. You just
You know, that's
you
but that's
just
a
like
lovely
musical.
memory
You just like
because of
musicals
being
because you're gay.
you just like musicals because you're gay. She's a wonderful woman. She is.
Yeah. So
But
that
see,
is
if
what
she had
happened.
erased the memory of finding that diary, she would have been able to enjoy that moment decades into the future.
Right.
There
And
you go.
that's why
Aha!
that's why it's such a confusing state. Like, that's why I like the confusion of the statement. When I start the story, I say, for a 15-year period from 1999 to 2014, my mother knew that I fucked my uncle. And then that's confusing because it's, wait, So did she die in
Yeah,
2014?
right. It's like what changed?
What happened?
What?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah,
So it's confusing, but at the same time, people think it's true. So that the twist
right.
at the end is better.
Well, yeah, you couch it in what is seems like an undisputed truth,
Yeah, and
and
so
then
right,
the payoff.
I basically tell the story from the point of view of the people experiencing it, and
Hmm.
then the twist reveals itself at the end like it did in real life.
Ah,
So basically,
and
the
you don't get
audience is
those.
going through the same experience me and my mom went through,
Right.
though in the way I tell it.
Mm.
And so that's basically the Cliff Notes version of the
Ah,
story. Yeah.
I'm sure.
So
And
yeah,
you don't get
I'm
and you don't
hoping.
get the twists and you don't get the resolution without the whole story.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping that's one of the things I publish in my book. I'm trying to come up with a book of all my writings, and
Yeah,
yeah,
I need to get on that. But yeah,
yeah,
but that's what Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is about. It's if you were to get rid of a chunk of someone's life story,
yeah,
whether it's romance, career, anything that hasn't worked for you, and you're just deciding to like abandon ship.
yeah.
That's a huge red flag. The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is taking that too far, and about what happens when people do that. And
Yeah.
publishing, I'm trying to do that as well, but that's a
Oh, cool. So
sidebar. We
you
might edit that out
writing
too.
like what types of writing?
Well, you've been on my Facebook. Lots of aphorisms, lots of small little things. I don't know. I
Like short
maybe
stories, memoirs?
no poetry.
Oh, poetry. Okay, nice.
Poetry. Yeah,
Yeah, I
like
have some
short
poetry.
little.
I've written some rap songs, some poetry, and I want to put all that in there too.
Yeah,
I
that would
kind
be
of want
cool.
to put
Yeah,
everything together and just put it and just label it. Just put it all together and just label it each section of what it is.
right.
Sorry, I was just like putting
Yeah,
something on the
mine. No,
computer.
okay. Mine would
And
be.
so yeah, I mean, to a bigger philosophy, I think, all, tr- you know, pain, suffering, hardship, whatever in life, it all has its purpose. And so we
Yeah.
think we're kind of stuck in our human, like what I like to call, like the, just like the awkward ickiness of life. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like we're kind of like stuck in that mindset all the time where
Right.
we forget about the bigger picture because
Yes.
we're humans and we're stuck in our crappy human existence, right, that we have
Yeah.
to deal with every day, and
Hmm.
we don't, like, I think we don't step back and be objective enough to really appreciate, like, no, like, all this pain and suffering I've gone through has made me learn this and this, and which is why I'm a better person. So um,
Right.
it makes you really appreciate, you know and maybe it helps you even become take more pain and suffering
Mhm.
more easily.
Right. And this is why people go to therapy because they don't know how to do this themselves. And because
Okay.
their friendship there's it's like look, I've this is something you don't hear every day. I've been in and out of therapy for like 26 out of my 30 years
Okay.
at least. And I think I've gone through that too much. Like that I'm trying to unlearn to overthink things. And
Okay.
I like there's really nothing you can get from a therapist that you can't get from a good friend. You can't get
Okay.
from an honest look at yourself. But if
And it's
friendships are,
cheaper.
oh, it's cheaper. But if your friendships are shallow and you don't have someone you can speak freely with about things, then that's really the isolation. It's all a crock.
Yeah, I
Like,
believe. Yeah, I believe in the philosophy of talk therapy, but at the same time, that's its only flaw, right? Is you this person only cares what you're saying because you're paying them. It's kind of like an emotional prostitute, is the way I kind of think of it.
really, that's very apt. I would agree.
And
Okay.
it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like that's I would completely be for therapy if it wasn't for that, because I'm kind of poor and cheap. So, and like my insurance maybe didn't cover it. I don't know. I didn't look into it because I never thought I needed therapy. But if I did ever think I need therapy, then the whole money issue would be, I think, a
Huge.
deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
um because yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just and that's, yeah, and people, and on the other ends, people will go to a therapist and like expect them, like, change my life, make me normal. Like
Right, they
it's
have more
almost,
expectations of the reality, right?
they almost want to bring out eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. Like, erase this trauma, make me forget what I've been through, or like make me
Yeah.
go rewind and make
Right,
different
it's
choices.
like the real it's the reality version of Eternal Sunshine.
Right. And it's like you can't erase anything, you can't rewind and make different choices. You have to learn and move forward. I don't regret
Yeah.
things. I don't look back in regret. I'll look back, I'll try to glean something. I'll try to be grateful that the sequence I've been through has led me where I am. My brother said something to me very interesting the other day. He was like, "How are you not sad?" And I'm like, "Is that going to bring me closer to my goals? Is that going to make me a
Why
more
is he
edifying?"
sad? Or
What was that?
why is he a sad person, or why did he ask that?
Well, I think it's because I have this weird predisposition to be happy, and maybe he envies it. I don't know, but
Oh, okay.
and I can be happy alone in a
I
way
think
that
life's just
most.
a mixture. I
I
don't
don't
think.
know why. I'm not endeavoring to know why. I'm not his analyst, but I'm just saying, like, I can't, like, I can be, look, I have two choices. I can be sad that everything has taken me here, or I could just be grateful and happy and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And I choose the latter because, I can't be sad. I never wallowed. Maybe I would pity myself, but I would never like stay there. I was not that kind who would be like, my life is completely pitiable and then like really live there. I'll stay there for like an hour or so, and then it's like, okay, next. Like, every time I lost a job, I found another one. Like, there's always, you can't, there's always a
Yeah,
reason to say, once more into the breach, my friend, if you will.
that's one of the easy ones where people think it's like sucky to lose a job, but then it just leads to a better one, and then getting fired from the old job is the best thing that ever happened to you.
Yeah.
That's kind of like how everybody should think of every bad thing that's ever happened to them, is that bad thing that happened to you, it's actually a good thing.
And it
Because,
leads you somewhere else. And you
yeah.
can't get rid of any of the steps without fucking up the whole process.
Yeah, and only positive things have come from something bad happening. Then positive things start to happen. Like
Yeah.
like the woman's whose skin melted. You know, she probably only got to be on Oprah because her skin melted.
So stupid.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yes,
That was a bad.
that's the
Sorry,
silver
that was a bad
lining.
example. That was a bad example. Sorry, that was
No, that was great. That was
no, but just
hilarious.
stuff like that where I just think, whatever. Like, but that's interesting. So your therapist, did they ever say something to that effect where they kind of said anything bad that happened to you, it was actually a good growing experience? Like, did they ever try to spin it that way?
No,
What?
I naturally knew that. I knew, like, that's the way
But
I've
you'd
been.
think that's what therapists would do for people.
Nope.
What do they do then?
Well, in my experience, it's a lot of, nodding and taking notes.
Oh my, that's not good.
No. And it's like, look within. Like, no, it needs to be a conversation.
See, I think if they had more philosophies like we're talking about, that would actually help people.
Yes. But
That's
therapy,
crazy.
but that's the
You're
thing
not
about the.
philosophical at all?
Nope.
That is such bullshit.
Well, again, because therapists I find get caught in, oh, everyone has these patterns. everyone's really fundamentally the same. And there is a lot of overlap between everyone's experience.
Right.
But you can't discredit the individual with whom you're talking. You can't let this knowledge that there's a lot of overlap, and there's archetypes and there's moments in people's lives that have relations and crossovers. You can't allow that to blind you to the fact that there's a human being sitting in front of you who probably expects you to converse. And if you don't, then it's a waste.
Right. So are you saying, like, in your experience, a lot of the, how many therapists did you have over those many years?
Oh my God.
A lot. So did some work better than others? Were some better than others, or were they mostly all bad?
I wouldn't say any of them were detrimental.
Okay.
A lot of them were just kind of, what was that?
That's good.
That's good, yeah. But a lot of them, there's no detrimental therapist that's coming to my mind right now. A lot of them were just kind of innocuous. Like,
so you're saying it really didn't help, kind of?
No, it was just like, why am I doing this? This is like another step in the what's wrong with Josh game.
So do you think that's the experience of a lot of people who go to therapy, that they don't really get anything from it? They're just trying to?
I feel like people enter therapy because people in their lives are dishonest or unclear in their views, or their views are skewed.
I thought it was just a lot of people with trauma of some kind.
That could be, but like, there's also a lot of it that's like witch hunt, or like we don't want to look at ourselves, so we will scapegoat and we will project.
Right. Oh, so let me ask you this. Do you think it's a lot of spoiled rich people who go to therapy?
Oh my God.
Who really don't need it?
A lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
I was afraid of that. That's what I think, yeah.
So many.
Because I definitely believe in, counseling the kid who was molested or whatever.
Yes, it is necessary. Like, not eradicate it. I just think it's overused. Yeah. A lot. How much time do we have left in the recording? I don't want to run out.
Yeah, I think we're about to wrap up here. And so I was just going to talk about my favorite breakup song, which is the Rilo Kiley Breaking Up, which is basically a metaphor for, like, being on the phone, breaking up with somebody, and then, like, the communication is going out, like,
we're breaking
up because we're breaking up. Our communication.
Gwen Stefani had a song like that too.
Oh, it's like with the metaphor.
We're breaking up. Yeah.
And then it had like the phone metaphor though. Breaking up.
It did.
But Jenny Lewis is very original, and she's like the greatest songwriter ever. Mm-hmm. Like, I think, like, one of the top 5. She's my favorite. Like,
she is good. Yeah. She listened to Laura Nyro, who I love. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you listen to a lot of Rilo Kiley, Jenny Lewis?
No, not really. I mostly Laura. Like I said, I'm more an old school guy.
Okay. So, yeah, me too.
Laura Nyro is more my.
Everything that's great, but
you will comb Billy Joel music video pages. Like, that's who you are.
That's what?
That's who you are. You'll comb Billy Joel music video pages.
It's
and Bob Dylan.
I actually have yet to really get to him.
Oh, excuse me.
I mean, I've heard Billy Joel. What?
I got the wrong artist. It was Bob Dylan.
No, Bob Dylan, the Beatles.
I got the wrong Jew.
Rolling Stones. I'm going through all the Rolling Stones music videos right now.
I see.
Bruce Springsteen. Yeah. But I guess, I don't know, it's maybe because Billy Joel, I've heard, and maybe he's one of the artists where you have to dig deeper, because that's what I learned with Bruce Springsteen. I thought Bruce Springsteen was kind of corny with the whole Born in the USA thing, but like, that's completely a misrepresentation, because if you dig deeper, his shit is way better than Born in the USA.
Oh, it's always, every label picks the worst things to publicize.
No, yeah, it's really, yeah. he's one of those people you got to give it like, and maybe you should just give everybody a chance, right? Because I learned that it is the record labels who pick the singles.
Yes.
But that's crazy because you'd think an artist would want their own single, but I guess they can't pick
Well,
it.
they get say,
Yeah,
but they don't make unilateral.
maybe not the final.
No, don't get unilateral decisions, nothing like
Unless the
that.
artist has become so big that they're their own label.
Right. And
Yeah,
even
but
then, you're
that's
still
not.
dependent on marketing, and it's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Um,
unfortunate because I think that's what made me. Maybe that's what's keeping me from listening to Billy Joel. Maybe he is better than what I think, but
he is.
he's
Give
just
him a listen.
represented by a lot of corny singles that I don't think are.
I'll send you some Billy Joel songs later that I love.
Okay, that's cool.
Because I know a lot of his work. But Rilo Kiley and Jenny Lewis called "Break Up." What's that song like? Talk about it again.
I mean, I kind of, I don't know. It's because maybe I couldn't really think of like a better one, but like that's the one I could think of. But like it's basically that. Like it's just a cool metaphor, and it's a great song. I don't know.
Well, do you remember other lyrics that are sticking out to you? What's
Just
great? Is it a good beat? Why would someone want to listen to it?
it's just a great song. I don't know. It's a
Oh,
great beat. Yeah.
it's a good beat. All right. So it's Rilo Kiley and Jenny Lewis
But
with
like,
"Breaking Up."
but no, but that's I don't know. That's kind of weird because it's kind of the problem I was just talking about where
Huh.
you'd want to listen to like all of Rilo Kiley, all of Jenny Lewis's songs. Like she has rarely had a bad song. And Under the Black Light, a lot of the fans were that's kind of the most puzzling album of what that song is on, of Rilo Kiley, because a lot of the fans didn't get why they went in that direction, because they were more indie rock before that, and then they kind of went into this like disco phase. I love it, but yeah, it's kind of on their disco album. But I don't know. For me, Jenny Lewis can do no wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I just love her. Like,
All right.
and she did this band, Nice as Fuck. That was amazing. That's kind of considered like a breakup album. It's kind of funny. I kind of realized like all her albums are breakup albums. Like, yeah, she went out with Blake Sennett, who was in the band Rilo Kiley with her, but they broke up kind of at the beginning of the band. But they stayed together for 10 years as a band. Then, they wanted to do their own thing, and then she broke up with Jonathan Rice, her next, boyfriend / collaborator, because they did Jenny and Johnny, and that album, which is an amazing album. And so it's kind of like every other album of hers is a breakup. It's kind of funny, but yeah, like her last two albums are like fucking beyond classics. It's crazy. Like I've listened, and you listen to the whole thing. Her whole albums are amazing. You don't skip songs.
Right.
And
that's
yeah,
rare.
she's like a perfect songwriter. It's crazy.
Nice.
And she got more into her personal story with her mother in this last album.
Okay.
That was crazy. Like her mom was like on heroin and like a drug dealer, and like spent all her money when she was like a kid actress, because she was a kid actress,
right?
Like True Beverly Hills and stuff. And so that was really interesting. That's, I guess, pretty much it. I guess
that's our breakup.
And kind of leave it at that, and I think that was pretty good. So
I'm breaking up with you, Ren. It's over.
All right. Let's break up. Let's be friends.
Okay, we can do that.
And all of our traumas, let's not try to erase all the traumas of our relationship.
Yeah, let's not do that because it'll fuck up the
because we learned from it. We learned from those traumas.
All right.
So that our next relationship is that much better.
Hey, and now we are the Idiot Twins signing off.
Yep. See ya. Right. Thanks, everybody.
Peace. All right. Hit not record.
Hit not record. Yeah, I
hit
did.
Not record. Hit stop.
All right. So that was pretty good.